Hello, this is a basic Canvas overview tutorial for Fall 2023 quarter. My name is Paige Coleman, and I am Canvas faculty support with Learning Technologies and Spaces. We are part of the Office of the Vice Provost for Student Affairs. Before I jump in here, I'd just like to preface this session by saying if at all you have any questions while you're designing and developing your course, during your course, please do not hesitate to submit a ticket at canvashelp@stanford.edu. That is the quickest way to get help. I assure you, your ticket will not get lost in some long queue. We have a highly responsive team. Again, that is canvashelp@stanford.edu. Okay, let's jump in. If this is your first time accessing Canvas, you're going to type canvas.stanford.edu into your URL. Canvas works best in Chrome or Firefox. Please avoid Safari if possible. Also, if this is your first time accessing Canvas, please allow time to web authenticate because you will be prompted to do so as well. Now, once you are brought to your course, you will see at the very top global announcements. Please don't X them out. Please read these announcements, for we reserve this space for highly pertinent information. If you do accidentally X an announcement out, you can access it again by navigating to this global menu bar and clicking on your account, scrolling down and clicking on global announcements. And here you'll be able to view current announcements and recent announcements as well. While I'm here, I'd like to review a few other tools. I'm going to click on Profile. And if you draw your attention to the right side of the screen, I'm going to click on the three dots, and this will allow you to edit and create your profile. So you can add links pertinent to your course, your own bio, contact info. You can also upload your own picture or avatar. Students may do this as well, and it's important to note that these pictures or avatars or symbols are separate from their course ID photos on file with the registrar. I'm now going to navigate to Settings. I clicked on Settings and now draw your attention to the right side of the screen under Ways to Contact. We highly recommend that your default way to contact is your Stanford email address. If not, this could create a barrier to entry for other particular tools within Canvas, for instance, Zoom or even collaborations, which I will address later. You may add other ways to contact, but you would denote the default way to contact by highlighting the star. I'm now going to navigate to Notifications and click on Notifications. If you intend to communicate with your students through Canvas, we highly recommend you make students aware of that so they can turn on your particular course notifications on for your course. Students can do this now on a course-by-course basis, and they can also drill down to particular tools within your course and select their notification preferences per tool. For instance, I'm going to click on Files, and these are the options available to me. Again, I would just make students aware so they turn on the notifications for your course. I'm now going to navigate back to the global menu bar, and I'm going to scroll down and click on my dashboard. I'm going to scroll down, and here I have published courses, and if I scroll down even further to the bottom of the page, I have unpublished courses. Courses are unpublished by default. If you do not see your course here, please contact your department admin or the registrar, for it's very important that you are the instructor on file for this particular course. We pull this information from the registrar. So if you do not see a course card representing the course you're teaching, it's more than likely that you're not on file to teach that particular course, and you would need to get in contact with your department admin or the registrar. I'm going to click on this particular course, which I'm going to be utilizing for highlighting particular tools within Canvas. Now, as you can see, once I entered this course, I was initially brought to the syllabus view, and this is the default view once you enter the course, is the syllabus view. Now, whether you have a Canvas course or an external website, utilizing the syllabus tool in Canvas helps both prospective and enrolled students access course information. It's crucial for all educators to utilize the syllabus tool within Canvas to share their syllabi. Now, the reasoning for this, we conducted student interviews and collected student surveys, and they told us much more about their student experience within Canvas, in particular regarding this syllabus tool. And students communicated that they've experienced frustration when the syllabi weren't in places they expected, such as the syllabus tool in Canvas. Students wished that instructors use Canvas in a much more consistent way for that student experience. It's much easier for them to locate their course materials and manage their coursework time. I'm now going to go through the process of adding your syllabus to this tool by clicking on the edit pencil icon. This is the rich content editor box, which remains consistent amongst other tools in Canvas, and I'm going to review the RCE box, we like to call it, in a bit. But let me click on the caret next to the course document symbol, and I'm going to upload a document which takes the document directly from my desktop. Course documents are all documents that you've already brought over to the Files tool, which I'll address in a little bit. I'm going to click Upload Document. I'm going to click on the rocket ship. I'm then going to find my syllabus. I'm going to open it. Now, even though I see the title of the syllabus tool on the top left here, it has yet to insert itself into the tool. I'm going to scroll down, and I must select usage rights. Documents are not viewable to students or publishable until you've selected usage rights. I'm going to click on the caret, select I hold the copyright, and click Submit. A yellow toolbar will flash. However, it has yet to insert. I must then click Update Syllabus. And here is my syllabus. You can also copy and paste your syllabus into the RCE box, the Rich Content Editor box, as well. Now, there is one caveat here I'd like to mention, or one exception, I should say, that whenever you upload content within your Canvas course, it's only visible to those enrolled in your course. However, when you upload your syllabus to the syllabus tool, it feeds directly to syllabus.stanford.edu, which this tool is accessible to all authenticated Stanford users. Even before you publish your course within its entirety, when you upload your syllabus to the tool, it will feed to syllabus.stanford.edu and will be accessible to all authenticated Stanford users. You do have the option to restrict syllabus access to those enrolled in your course, and this will only work for enrolled students. For more information to do so, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. Now, the second best practice we recommend is uploading content into files. However, before I review files, I'd like to mention the roster photos and people tool. Now, roster photos are only visible to teaching teams, but it's a great way for instructors to familiarize themselves with those enrolled in their course. And I'm going to highlight a more robust photo since this is my demo course. So students have the ability to navigate to access and record their pronouns and name pronunciation, which we then pull into Canvas through the roster photos tool. And here is where you can click the play button and listen to their name pronunciation and view their preferred pronouns as well. If you are interested in printing the raster photos, you'll need to change the view to photos and names or photos only from the default view. That includes the pronouns. And again, this tool is only visible to teaching teams. The People tool, however, is visible to all those enrolled in your course. You do have the option to hide it within the navigation menu, which I will highlight in a little bit. However, with the People tool visible, other students are only able to view another student's name, section, or role. They won't see login ID, SISID, or their activity, for instance. And if your course is going to employ a lot of group project-based work and collaborative activities, I highly recommend keeping this visible. Now let's move on to files. It's much easier to design and develop your course once you bring all this content over to the Files tool. I'm going to click on Upload, and I can bring a document over right from my desktop. I can also drag and drop content from my desktop into this box area here. Now, if you notice, when I brought this document over, this red exclamation mark appeared, which denotes I must set my usage rights in order to publish the document so it's viewable to students. I am now going to select I hold the copyright. I'm going to publish the document and save it. Now, you can also create folders within this box as well. We recommend using weeks, unit, themes, titles. We do not recommend utilizing dates at all. For instance, you will be creating a lot of extra work for yourself for if you're going to import this quarter's coursework into another quarter. All those dates will come over as well, and they will no longer apply. So you're just going to create a lot of extra work for yourself by clicking and editing all those dates. I'd also recommend, if you are going to organize according to folders, to try to make that similar to the format within your syllabus. It's just much easier for students to navigate. There's also a little hack within this tool. If you're on a Mac, press if you are on a Mac, press Command A. And if you are on a PC, press Control A. And everything highlights in blue, and this toolbar appears at the top of the screen. This allows for bulk functionality. So in terms of setting your usage rights, I think you'll find this will save you much time. So you can delete according to bulk, you can manage the usage rights according to bulk, move content around, download content as a zip in a CSV file, and you can also manage access, which means you can set the availability to and from for particular folders or documents between specific dates and times. I'm actually going to close out of this. And I'm going to upload another doc. I'm going to press Command A because I'm on a Mac, just to highlight the bulk manage usage rights functionality. I'm going to select Publish. Now, one more thing I'd like to mention here is this S. This is a new default feature within the Files tool this quarter. This denotes Scribe, which is the self-serve document conversion tool, which transforms text and image-based files into a variety of output options, including audio, braille, or e-text formats. And it's now visible in the Files tool by default. If you'd like to disable it, you would navigate to Settings, Navigation, and you'll find Scribe, and you'll drag and drop it down. And I'm going to highlight that workflow in a little bit. Now let's navigate to announcements. Announcements is a wonderful way to communicate with everyone in your course, all your students, even TAs or other instructors. I'm going to click Add Announcements. As you can see, this RCE box is the same. And this orange toolbar appeared at the top. Whenever you see these orange toolbars or blue toolbars, please take the time to read them. Okay. In this case, notifications will not be sent retroactively for announcements and created before publishing your course or before the course start date. So if you create announcements now as well, students won't receive notifications for those announcements if the entire course is not published. So we recommend utilizing the delay posting option. I'm going to highlight that now. Going to fall 20. Announcement can't be created unless you also put content in the RCE box. I'm going to scroll down, and under options here, I have delay posting option. And then you can post this at a specific date and time. This is a great feature to utilize if you want to set up your course now and create all your announcements before the course begins, before you publish the course. And so this announcement will not deploy until the specific date and time you've selected. However, do not forget at the very bottom to click Publish. One other thing I'd like to mention within the Announcements tool is this P symbol here, which denotes PopeTech, which is an accessibility guide. And it's only visible to teaching teams. It's used to identify and resolve all accessibility issues, and it consistently appears in the RCE, this rich content editor box, to all teaching teams, TA roles, and it'll always be next to the cancel publish or cancel save and publish button when creating any new content within the RCE. Now, before I click publish on this announcement, I'd like to review some options here within the RCE box. You have the option to include links, upload images, media, documents. Okay. You have formula options as well. And you can create tables. I'm going to scroll down and click publish. A rule of thumb when creating content within Canvas is to always scroll down and just ensure that you've clicked save or save and publish. Now we are going to navigate to discussions. Now, discussions are a great place where students can share files with each other. Unlike assignments, when content is submitted to assignments, it's only visible to the teaching teams. But like I said, here students can share files with each other. I'm going to click Add Discussion. Again, in order for something to be published, content has to be in the title and in the RCE box. One of the things I love about discussions is that you can select a discussion to be graded. And anytime you select something to be graded, a column for it will appear in the grade book. You can assign points to this discussion, or you can also display grade as complete, incomplete. So you have a few options available. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click Save and Publish. Now, if you are going to heavily utilize discussions within your course, we do have another discussion tool available called Harmonize. Now, I'm looking for Harmonize in the menu bar on the left, and I don't see it. Now, Harmonize is available by default. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on Settings. I'm now going to look at these tabs at the top, and I'm going to click on Navigation. And as you can see here, these tools at the top mirror the tools on the left. These are all the tools that are set to be visible in your course. I'm now going to scroll down. These are the tools that are available by default, but I haven't set to be visible yet. And in order to do that, I'm going to drag and drop the tools up. So there's Harmonize. I'm also going to scroll down, and I'm going to speak to Ed Discussions after Harmonize. Now, if you recall when I was speaking about Scribe and how it is now available by default in the Files tool, here is Scribe, and it is set to be visible. I can see here on the left as well in this course. But let's say I don't want Scribe to be visible within the Files tool. Here's an example of how I would drag and drop that down. I'm now going to scroll down and click Save. And I'm going to check to make sure, yep, there's Harmonize and Ed Discussion. I brought them up, and I no longer see Scribe. If you have any questions regarding this workflow, again, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm now going to navigate to Harmonize. I'm not going to go in much detail now, but it's a much more robust discussion tool. Students can upload multiple types of files directly within posts. They can easily record audio and video comments. Students and instructors can also annotate on posts. They can collect and grade as well, and it's fully integrated with SpeedGrader. And this is the dashboard for Harmonize. And if you have any questions, please submit a ticket. We also have a sandbox set up, so we can add you to a sandbox as well, so you can play around if you're not comfortable doing so within your course. And just submit the ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm also going to quickly mention Ed Discussion. Ed Discussion is a Q&A, question and answer type tool, just like Piazza. It's very popular among quite a few professors and quite a few instructors, and is used heavily amongst classes on campus. So if you utilize Piazza, perhaps you're interested in examining Ed Discussion a bit more, again, please send us a ticket. However, it is available by default in your course, so you can test it out within your course as well. Now let's navigate to assignments. Now, assignments. This is where you are going to grade and collect work. I'm going to create an assignment. Let's just call this the midterm. Now, let's say this is your first time creating an assignment. You're going to want to ensure that you're setting it up properly. And I'm going to also show the student side of adding work to, or adding content or uploading a document to an assignment shell. But let me complete these fields first. I'm going to assign 50 points since it's a midterm. If you click on the caret for display grade as, you have these options available to you. Now, in order for students to be able to submit work to this assignment shell, submission type online must be selected. It may appear like this if this is your first time doing so. You're going to click on the caret and click online. And we recommend utilizing file upload. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to limit attempts. Now you can assign this assignment to everyone. You can assign it to particular individuals. We highly recommend always utilizing a due date. For once you utilize a due date on the student side, it will appear on their to-do list and they will have a reminder that something is due. So what this means is when students go to submit work after the due date, they'll still be able to submit work, but it will appear late in the gradebook. You can take this one step further and lock it down by setting an available from and an until date, which means students will be able to see the assignment title, but they won't be able to click on it and open it until the available from. And the same applies on the until. After the until date and time, they won't be able to click on it, open it, and submit work to that assignment shell. We recommend making the until date consistent with the due date. So as you can see here, I'm just going in and making sure my fields are consistent. And then click Save and Publish. Now, let's say this is my first time doing so. I want to make sure students can submit work to the shell, so I'm going to click on Student View at the top right. I'm going to click Start Assignment, and I'm going to upload a file. Students can upload files directly from their desktop. Click Submit Assignment. And I will be provided as a student with the submission details, the document, the date, time, and a success check that it was submitted. Now, let's say the due date has passed and all students, all students have submitted their work and it's time to grade this paper. I'm going to leave student view. And I'm going to utilize SpeedGrader to grade. I'm going to click on SpeedGrader and it's going to open up this particular field. Now, SpeedGrader is not meant for multiple graders. This big red warning box here alerts me to that multiple graders should not grade the same assignment at the same time. Okay, just a reminder. If you do have a large course with lots of sections and lots of TAs, we do recommend another tool called Gradescope. And if you'd like more information on that, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm going to click out of this warning box. I have the ability to grade inline text here. So I can highlight. I can cross text out. I can also leave comments. Now, if you draw your attention to this right bar screen, I also have the ability to leave comments to this particular student. In this field, I can attach files. I can leave audio or media recordings as well. Once I click submit for a comment, students will receive a feedback indicator on their end that a comment was left for this particular assignment and they'll be able to view it. I can also grade within this assessment box. And once I put a grade in here, it will feed to the grade book. One important thing to note here is that the default posting policy is manual, not automatic. So I'm going to explain what that means. Let me grade Now once I click enter here, this red oblong box appeared that reads hidden. And if you look at the top left of the hand side of the screen, there's an /icon. So what this allows me to do by this manual posting policy is grade and submit grades for students by going paper to paper. I can do that at the top right, like a toggle, going from one student to the next. And then after I've graded them all, then I need to post all their grades at once. And I can do so by clicking on the /icon and clicking post grades. Or there's another way which I prefer because I like to have a holistic view of my class. I navigate back to my course in the gradebook. And here I find the assignment shell for midterm paper. And this will be filled with many more students. This is just my demo course, but I have a holistic view here. So I can see, oh, Liz Lemon has yet to submit her paper. And when I place my cursor on the title, these 3 dots appear. And when I click on the 3 dots, I can message students who, and I can also post grades from here. I'm going to post grades. I'm going to click post. And as you can see, this green success banner appeared at the top of the page. But in addition to that, the /icon disappeared within the title of the assignment as well. And that's the manual posting policy. You can change this if you'd like to automatic, and you can do so for the entire course, or you could do so per assignment. So to do so per assignment, you would click on the 3 dots, grade posting policy, and you would switch to automatic. Scroll down and click save. If you want it for the whole course, you would click on this gear icon, top right side of the screen, select grade posting policy, and select automatic. And then at the bottom, click apply settings. There are a few other features here that I'd like to mention with the gradebook. One thing that we're excited about is that you can now submit assignments on behalf of a student in the grades tool. And you would do so by clicking in this field, the grade field, and clicking on the arrow. And then under the student's name and the assignment shell, you can click submit for student. Now this is only available when file upload option is selected when you're creating the assignment shell. Other options can be selected, but teaching team members can only upload files on behalf of the students. Only teaching team members. And then it'll appear right here in the gradebook if the team member submitted on behalf of the student. And it will also display who from the teaching team submitted on behalf of that student, which is great if you have multiple TAs or instructors. You can now also modify the Canvas gradebook export for import into Access, which is quite handy for submitting grades into Access. And we have a Canvas help article regarding this workflow process. If you're interested, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. You would click export, but a particular grading scheme must be set up in order for it to input into Access correctly. One other feature I'd like to mention here is the enhanced gradebook filters just went live in August. You can now apply these filters, which allows instructors to create other filters that can be saved or used one time. Can filter by gradebook by date, needs grading assignment filter, ungraded filter work. There are quite a few options available to you here. I recommend you taking a look. However, I also recommend setting up your gradebook filters before you publish your course. Okay. And if you have any questions at all regarding the Break Gradebook, again, please just submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. Moving back now, there are a few other items I would like to mention. I'm going to scroll down here to collaborations. Collaborations is a great tool for group project work, and it is essentially that they are Google Docs. Students can add each other to Google Docs, or instructors can create them and assign students to them as well. I could just add students and select Start Collaborating. And I will be brought to a blank Google Doc paper. Click through that process one more time. You also have the option within collaborations of Google assignments. This just went live a couple days ago, the end of August, Google Assignments LTI 1.3. And if you have any questions regarding those features, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm now going to highlight modules and pages. Once all your content is within Canvas, you can structure it differently for students opposed to just utilizing it as a file repository and accessing assignments and discussions. You can actually add all content into a page. I'm going to create a page. The same naming conventions apply here too, as to not use specific dates. And you can simply add all your content, add all your links within this RC box, links to other discussions as well. You can place all your content into a page and label your pages consistent with your syllabus, whether week 1, week 2, project, themes. However, we do recommend in options is that you keep only teachers selected. For if you select teachers and students, it could serve more as a wiki page and work may be accidentally overwritten or deleted or lost. Within pages, you can also select a publish at date. So because I selected a publish date in the future, save and publish is then grayed out and I only have the ability to save. But once I do so, on the top of the page will appear the publish date. Another way to create, organize, chunk content within your course is to utilize modules. And this is a great way to create a seamless learning path for students. I always like to have a welcome to module, but I am just going to chunk it. Unit 1, Unit 2, and so on. As you could see when I was creating modules, you also have the option to select prerequisites. Now I'm going to go through the process of adding content within that module. So when I was creating the module title, I was clicking add module at the top, but to add content within that module, you would click the addition symbol within that module. And then when you click on the caret, you have the options of bringing over this particular content. So let me bring over a discussion, and I would add the item. Let's bring over an assignment. Okay, let's say I haven't created week 1, unit 1's assignment yet. I could create the assignment right from here. The only caveat here to not having created it before is that I must then go into this assignment and build it out. So by clicking it, it'll bring me to that assignment. I click edit the pencil icon. Make sure for submission type that it's online. Select file upload. I'm going to set a due date, fill all this out, click save and publish. Now I'm going to navigate back to modules. So you can create your entire course within modules as well and just create this seamless path for students to navigate. Also, you can add external URLs. You can create text headers to chunk the material. Something important to mention here is even though this content is published within the module, the module title and the content in it won't be visible to students unless the module title itself is published. And then you have these options available. So please take the time to read these 3 options. Let's say I don't want this viewable, the Stanford link, I would just unpublish that. But because the title is published, I'll be able to view this discussion and assignment within that module. Now, let's say you decide to utilize pages within your course or modules. You can choose that to be your default homepage instead of the syllabus. If you look under course status on the right, you would click choose homepage and then you would select the preferred view. For instance, course modules. Click save. And that way when students enter your course, this is the first thing that they will be brought to. This could also be a front page. I'm now going to mention Zoom and Panopto. So it's important to note that the student and observer access to course recordings ends after the quarter is over. And there's also a toolbar mentioning this at the top of the screen as well. The host is the person who created the Zoom session. So something to keep in mind if you're an instructor and a TA created your Zoom session. And to prevent multiple notifications from deploying to students, we recommend setting up the Zoom meeting before publishing your course. And when you create Zoom meetings in Canvas, they're also auto-added to the calendar and to Panopto. All cloud recordings auto-uploaded to the Zoom tool within Canvas. And when you create reoccurring meetings in Canvas, down here, when you create these reoccurring meetings, we recommend keeping authentication on to prevent Zoom bombing. And there's another little caveat to mention here that opposed to the Stanford Zoom portal, the Stanford Zoom URL, is with the Stanford or with the Canvas Zoom integration, you can't create breakout rooms. So in order to create breakout rooms, you must do them through the Stanford Zoom URL, and then they will be pulled over to Canvas. I'm now going to navigate to Panopto course videos. So the files tool does have limited space, so we recommend uploading your videos to the Panopto tool here. You can also create an upload directly here as well, and it has much better controls for editing, creating, and revising content. And Zoom auto recordings are also uploaded here as well, even if the meeting was created in Canvas and recorded to the cloud. And it's easier to import videos from one quarter to a next once they're in Panopto. There are two other integrated tools I'd like to mention, Poll Everywhere and Slack. And for more information, again, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. I'm going to mention the help menu in the global menu bar. Now, if you click request help from Stanford Canvas support, this is the same as submitting a ticket to us at canvashelp@stanford.edu. But you also have the option here to browse Stanford Canvas help guides, which were highly curated by our team. And then you could also search Canvas guides, which are instructor guides. Instructor is the company that owns and operates Canvas. So opposed to just going out of Canvas and submitting a ticket through email, please feel free to navigate to help and click request help from Stanford Canvas support as well. Now, the absolute last thing you should do in your course when it's student facing ready is publish the entire course. And you can do so by clicking publish course in the front here, front middle of the screen, or you can also do so within course status on the right, clicking publish. And you can also do so on your dashboard by scrolling down and clicking publish within your particular course. Now, as I mentioned, I just want to review the new tools this fall 2023 quarter. As I mentioned, Scribe, it's not new by any means, but by now Scribe does appear within the Files tool, and you can hide that if you'd like because it's visible by default, as I highlighted earlier, by navigating to Settings, Navigation, and you would just drag and drop the item down or drag and drop it up. However, it's already available by default, but in case you drag and drop anything down, any tool that you would like to then be visible, feel free to drag and drop it up. Don't forget to scroll down and click Save. There's also a course extender tool where instructors can now unlock courses after the term ends. For more information on this click-through process, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. Also, as I briefly mentioned in collaborations, and it's also available option when creating an assignment and uploading content to an assignment, is Google Assignments 1.3. And again, that just went live a few days ago, August 31st. So if you have more questions regarding Google Assignments 1.3, please submit a ticket to canvashelp@stanford.edu. And then the last page I would like to leave you with is our GoCanvas site. So this is our Drupal operated GoCanvas site. We have links for instructors and for students. This video will be uploaded to this site as well. I currently have the spring videos up, but fall will be going live. And here is where we post all pertinent information regarding announcements, news updates, tools, new tools that we're utilizing within Canvas. So I highly recommend navigating to gocanvas.stanford.edu and taking a look at this site as well. I hope you have a lovely fall 2023 quarter. Again, any questions? canvashelp@stanford.edu.